Hey guys, welcome to Team Talk brought to you by Vertical Football. I am your host for today's Shegum. So let's jump right into it. 5 things Erik Ten Hag must do if he doesn't want to get sacked. Number 1, Erik Ten Hag must play players based on form and performance. I think this looks very simple. This looks logical. But guys, Manchester United fans would agree that there are certain players in that team that gets played. They get game time even when they are out of form, and they keep playing them, and they have to keep playing them even when they are out of form, even when the performances do not justify the time they are being given on the pitch. So I think Erik Ten Hag must stop it. I think this has been a common theme in Manchester United since the time of Ole, in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would play the likes of Rashford, the likes of even the likes of Sancho, even the likes of maybe Pogba when they are clearly out of form. So I think Manchester United, if they want to move forward, Erik Ten Hag, if he doesn't want to get sacked, must choose players based on form and performance. Marcus Rashford's game time should be based on, is he performing or not? Not just because you want to play him, or not just because the contract details it be played. Second thing I would say Erik Ten Hag must do if he doesn't want to get sacked is that his game management and the timing of his subs must improve. I think one of the strengths of Erik Ten Hag in his first tenure was his game management was superb in the first season, and the timing of his subs was amazing. I think you could look at it that, okay, the first game of the season, bringing in Joshua Zexi at the right time, got the goal. But I think he just needs to improve on it. I think we saw that last season, that the types of subs he was making and the timing of the subs and even the quality of the subs, so were questionable. So he needs to make the right subs at the right time, and subs that improve the level of the team or maintains the level of the team. He needs to not make mistakes of putting in players or removing players that drop the level of the team. Third thing he needs to do if he doesn't want to get sacked is that he must rotate and must have amazing load management. I think Ineos has tried so much by creating a squad for him where he can be able to rotate. He can be able to make use of the players. I think one of the things we first noticed in Erik Ten Hag's mode of management is that he runs players into the ground, the likes of Lisandro Martinez. I think the injuries we saw in the second season of his tenure at Manchester United were a reflection of how he overused those players in the first season. You could see the likes of Shaw. We know Shaw is more or less always injured, but the likes of Shaw, the likes of Martinez, the likes of Malacia, these guys were used so much. They were used so much. So I think Erik Ten Hag needs to have a proper load management, needs to understand that he's working with his squad. And I think in every position now is covered with 2 players. So I think he needs to use the squad well to manage the load management so that he doesn't get injuries, so that the key players are fresh for key games. Number 4, Erik Ten Hag must have tactical variability. I think we've said this many times on this podcast that Erik Ten Hag needs to be able to make changes that are not like for like. So, for example, he could be playing a game, he'll be using his normal 4-2-3-1, and it doesn't work. He should not be afraid to use 3-3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. He must step up. He must not be afraid to change formations and to adapt to games as it goes on. So he needs to be tactical. He needs to bring in tactical variability into games. And, he must not be afraid to use 2 strikers. I think one of the success that Erik Ten Hag had in the last season, in the FA Cup final, was because of his tactical variability, using a false 9, which is not something that he has always been using. So I think there's a lot of good for Erik Ten Hag if he can just adapt his tactics, if he can just, make sure that, he brings up something that surprises the opposition manager. And the 5th thing I believe Erik Ten Hag must fix if he wants to remain in the job, and this thing is very, very important, is that Erik Ten Hag needs to speak to the wingers and the midfielders to pass enough to strikers. I think there are a lot of chances last season, and even this season we are beginning to see that if they had passed at the right moment to the striker, they would score goals. I think he needs to have a talk with his wingers. For example, Garnacho, for example, Anthony. He needs to have a talk with them, Marcus Rashford, that the first role of a winger is to find the striker. You only have a chance to score if you feel you're in a better position, but your first objective is to pass to your striker. So I think he needs to do this, and I'm happy with the inclusion of the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Ake into that team, into that coaching setup, to tell him you need to speak to them. Manchester United would score a lot more goals if the wingers, the midfielders could just have a focus on feeding our strikers fat. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking with me on these 5 things Erik Ten Hag must do if he doesn't want to get sacked, if he still wants to remain Manchester United manager, and ultimately if he wants to be successful with Manchester United. Thank you very much, guys, and see you next time. But don't forget to like this video, don't forget to share this video, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and bye.